Good morning, traders. This is your captain speaking. How's everyone doing? I hope you had a nice evening yesterday. Let's go here and see what's going on in the markets. Let me start with the ES. This has been a pretty solid rally, and we're kind of crawling higher inch by inch. So cinch yard by yard is hard. So what's interesting about the ES at the moment, if we take a look at this, we've had, I think it's about 8 higher highs with one inside day. Regardless, we've had quite the rally all the way up from here. If I just kind of look at it this way. And we were tripping over our feet, last week, gapping up 2 days in a row like that. Problem is, I think there's too many shorts below part of it, and the market's coming back nicely. But if we look at the dailies for a second, I'll just bring up a daily. What you're seeing here is the Keltner channel, right? This is the 20 MA, and then I also use a 30 high moving average, 30 low on the dailies. And this is the PAV reversal, where you could see we reversed right here, and we have not had a 3-bar PAV reversal down. We're still continuing to move higher. So you can't fight it. This is a big area, and we're not that far away. And then we have this big gap here and cave from this downdraft that we had that picked up momentum and continued to sell off, right? And this push back up here was purely, let me just grab my drawing lines here, right? So if you're to look basically right in this area, it's where we fell apart. We did come back and retest it right here, and then we fell apart again, and now here we are, not that far away. Okay, and that's basically between that 44.24 all the way up to 45 is going to be a big area. So you can't just sell it because you think we're overbought. That's a dangerous word to use. The market had one big rally, but if you look at it on the ES, we're not, we're still, what is this about? Oh, I don't know. I think it's quite a bit, 500 off the highs, 400 off the highs. So we still have some ways to go if we want to get up here. But for the time being, you have to go with the trend, take one data point at a time, right? So let's look at this market profile. This is kind of a very pivotal area. You could see where we've had highs there, and then when we got above it, we had these lows that kind of sliced and diced it. As we know, I call it the souvlaki stick. Shish kebab in Greek, of course. So, just take a look at this. It's pretty solid pivot. If you take the value area from yesterday, I just put a little box around it. That's, where we traded 70% of the day. And the point of control was right near this high volume node. So we are making a move up. There's no reason to think that we can't continue this rally. But if we, for some reason, turn back down and get below the pivot, which is 43.87, it was important yesterday. We kind of watched that level. Then all bets are off. We can come back and test the US session lows back down around that 43, 74, 75 area, right? All right, so for a quick recap, I think the market's still continuing to go higher. We have not had any kind of signs of reversing in any way. In fact, we tried to balance here, and we came out of balance and kind of started moving the body of the market higher and creating value above this area where the market had a little sideways overlap in an inside day. And this inside day was on Tuesday, and I'm sorry, on Monday. So, look for possibly a little push up into the, on the opening. If we open up higher here, watch for this. We'll watch, of course, together for a gap from the high from yesterday, U.S. session high, to wherever we open. If we open up here, there's a good chance, if it's not too much higher from here, that they come back down first. Smaller gaps are made to be filled are usually filled pretty quickly. These big gaps, are the ones that when they gap that big like this and open here and then rally are the ones that don't expect a move back in a gap, or at least that a full gap fill. Anyway, so that is the ES, all right? Let's go behind the scenes here and take a quick look here at this crude. So the crude's been interesting. We've had this big area. This is quite the coil that we had here, right? And price overlap. We went to both sides of the distribution area here, this sideways price overlap for 4 days until we broke out of it. And when we did break out of it, we did that during the night session, leaving a gap. Of course, we opened up and continued this route, or this break. Now, we might hold up for a little bit here, but we're not out of the woods with this, with the crude. The natural, generally we think of the crude as, it's going to continue to go higher, but not really. I think we could, hang on one second. We could continue to move lower, but this might be a small pit stop. Even though we had this big price overlap up here, I want to point out something. We're still continuing to be an IPAV reversal down, and then we continue to move higher or lower. This yellow line is the 200 SMA daily that we're kind of we got a little pit stop there. And of course, this was a pocket before we took off. So we might hold up. At the moment, I have my pivot at 75.40, which is the bottom, right below the POC, point of control from yesterday in the US session. And also the overnight, the bottom of the overnight kind of major value area. We just peaked a little bit below there. So I think if we get below, let's say 75.40, we can go the other way. But currently, a little bit of a bounce is probably in the cards first. So, but be careful. Don't get, I think, you can't assume that we're going to go all the way back up to here. If you look at this this trend line, or this, I want to call it a neckline. This is almost like a head and shoulders, which I hate using a textbook like description, but it is what it is. We had this move up, higher move, lower high, and we broke it right here, right? But if you measure from this level down to the neckline, 70.05, 70 even call it, is not only a big area here of support, but that's the objective of this sell-off. Now, will we get it? We take it, one day at a time and one data point at a time. So, but this is where we're at. We could go both ways. They could try to catch a little bit of a rally early, which is probably in store. It is in the cards for now, and possibly get up to the 77.50 or test the US session highs. We'll see. Hang on one second. Just to recap, the US session highs is a possibility 77.09 and possibly even 77.45 to 50. Okay, in the early morning. But I do feel if we get on the other side of 75.40, we can continue this break. And market goes where it hurts the most and where people don't expect it to go. So be a leader, not a follower. Okay, let's move on. Let's see. Go on to the next chart. We've got the gold here. Now, gold is interesting too. We came in, we filled a little bit of this gap down here. The gap actually was right around this previous session low down to this level, but we moved into the gap this morning, did not take out the previous US session lows, or I'm sorry, the overnight lows, that is. And we just see here, give me a second. So 1948.30 was the overnight lows. Okay, and we fell shy, as you could see, of taking that out. Meanwhile, I think this pivot is kind of an area where we could trade on both sides of it in the morning, but 1954, above it, maybe they continue to push up similar to the crude, but I feel like the gold is also in a dangerous, is a little bit on its way back down. Now, 1925, around that level is the pretty much the 50% mark from this high that we made here, right, to this low, and that comes in right around 1925. Will we get down there? I don't know. But I do feel that the market is still in trouble. I would be selling rallies. If we catch a nice rally, I would be looking to sell it, once we have exhausted the rally, because I think the market will still continue to test lower, whether it's today or tomorrow. But this is telling me that. You've got the 20 EMA sloping down now. We broke this level up here, and there's not much to say about this area other than we're testing the 30 high moving average, which comes in at 1949.50. That's the 30 high daily moving average. Okay. All right. So let's just look at this market profile for a minute. You can see what we're doing. We're moving up into this area, kind of a little bit of a spot where this is a poor high from the overnight. The point of control comes in at 1960. 1962, though, is a pretty big area. If they get up there, first time up there, I think that's going to be good resistance. And then we could possibly come back and test the pivot again. But currently, because this market had also came out of balance here. If you were to look at it this way, woo, that's pretty high. Oh, I like that color. But that's where we balanced, and we came out of it, but came back in it that day, kept coming back into this middle area of price overlap, and then we sold off and left the gap. And now we just might come back up a bit, do a little healing. Maybe we get up to between 59 and 62. But at that point, I think for me, that's where the market might hold up. Okay. Okay, hang on a second. Okay, let's move on. So the pivot, 53, 52 in that area. And I feel we're going to continue to climb the wall of worry a little bit in this gold, but we're not out of the woods. This area is probably where we're going. And we might do a little, little range between 1962 and the current morning lows. The CC is just doing some price overlap. It's kind of balancing. You can see this value area all the way across here is overlapping. Pretty big area for me, this 107.38. That's where my pivot is. And then, of course, down here, this low, 106.71 is kind of the where we're going to play around back and forth. I think in this EC, it's just taking a break, right? So if we take a look here, let's just see what it looks like on the dailies. You can see what happened. We had this higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, but came back down at this point and still rallied. Now we're in a slight PAV sell, but I feel the market's just going to do a little balancing. I don't feel you're going to see it come back down too much. I think we had this big move down, and now we've got a bit of a strength back in the market, broke out of this downtrend, and you might see a move higher in the EC. But for the time being, we got to let the market tell us if we're balancing here, which way we go. I think above the pivot or below this low, you get a directional move. If they happen to get below 106.71, we got this gap down here. Here's the inside pocket, and we can start to move into the gap at 106.30, which basically gets down to 105.98. But that's pretty far away, so I'm not saying that we're going to get down there. We have to wait and see. Sit on your hands until we get above the pivot or below this low. Okay, so that's the EC. This now on the flip side, we've had such a nice breakout in the bonds, and we watched this materialize. We felt like, okay, we broke out here, we held that support. That's the low for this year, but of course this low goes back. I mean, we haven't been down in these levels in the bonds for, I don't know, it's like 14 years. It doesn't matter, it's so long ago. But this pushback down was perfect into this pocket. Very trappish in the bonds, at that point, because we made a lower low in the overnight markets, made a higher low from the US session, and that started to move up. And when we came down here, we pretty much just held this area, and that started a move back to the upper part of this structure, did some balancing, and then we came out of it. And nice rally, but we're still quite a ways from the highs, but of the whole move. But the market's doing a little bit of healing at the moment. Might come back. When I say healing, just resetting would be better. Market is holding up. The bonds are looking good, and there's a little bit of a cave here from the overnight market. The pivot comes in at 14.28, 114.28. If they get back above that, we might do a full retest of the overnight highs, and which are right there with the US session highs. Okay, and that comes in at 115.12. All right. Just so that we can get a look at the dailies. I like to, I've been wanting to add the dailies just so that we can look at it on a regular bar chart. You can see how this looks, right? We had one hell of a break here, never had two closes above the 30 high moving average since 132. And now we had two, which, caused another little bit of a flurry to the upside, I feel. This pretty big trap down here. you had a lower, a new low here on the dailies and a higher low on the 310 oscillator. We had a lot of things telling us this could go higher. We got a PAV reversal here, and we continued, and we're still green on the reversal side. So market's holding up, but we might just get a little bit of a reset to kind of just try to balance, see if this high is a good high or not. If they take out this high, we have a gap above, we can continue to move this the bonds much higher. Okay, so let me just go back to our regular drawing screen, or our regular screen here. All right. We're going to have fun today, aren't we? We always have fun. You guys make it fun. Okay, so currently you can see what's going on here. We're getting this little push up, possibly to 62. This is the 5-minute one, 5-minute volume candle. So between 59 and 62 is probably where we're going here in the bonds. And this crude is circling around that major area of, let me bring that up just for a quick second, since this is important. All right, there we go. So this daily 200 SMA comes in right around here. It's kind of an area of testing above and below at the moment. It's the pocket in the 76.15 area. May hold in the morning, which you could see we tested below there and did a little bit of a pop. But you could see how the with these volume candles, we had this rally. I got everybody long, thinking we're going to continue, and we gave it right back on good volume. So, like I said, the crude is having some issues and could go higher, but I don't think we're out of the woods with the crude. That's my 2 cents on that. Okay. All right. Let me just take a look at the SPOOs real quick. You can see the rallies are, inch by inch, kind of very slow. And I think that you had a tremendous amount of buying in the last 8 days to get us up here. The longs are still staying long, but we're not getting a new flood of longs in the market, I think. They're just climbing the wall of worry a bit at the moment. So we'll see where we end up after the first 15 minutes. We'll sit on our hands for the first 15 minutes, look at the volume, look at if there's a gap. Meanwhile, I do want to point out that the NASDAQ has not taken out their U.S. session highs from yesterday, but the ES has. So the NASDAQ is a little bit behind, but not far. And after the opening, you could see a pop in the NASDAQ and get up to the swing high from previous swing high. All right, let's go back to the original. We'll put the gold and the crude up, and we're going to start in 4 minutes. We'll let the first 15 minutes finish out.